Fire away.
Nick, at what capacity do you expect Jordan Davis to practice, and could you see him playing on Sunday?
Yeah, he's doing a good job as rehab. I'm not going to ever give anybody a timetable. We don't have to make a decision quite yet about that, and so we'll see. We will see. I mean, we're in walkthrough, so he'll be out there, and he'll be out there today.
Do you have any further update on CJ?
No, just so you guys know, as far as the lacerated kidney, I know he was in some pain on the field, and he's doing well right now. As far as as far as how long he'll be out, that you never really know with that, and I'm not going to put a timetable on anybody, but we just hope he gets a bit better, and we'll play it safe with that. That's obviously that's a dangerous injury, and we'll think about his health just like we do all our players first, and then he'll get on the field when he's ready.
How do you rehab a lacerated? Is it just
yeah,
rest?
that I can't answer. I don't know. I think it's probably a lot of rest, and I don't have a great answer for you on that one. But I would imagine that a lot of it's going to be rest and make sure it heals up. So, yeah. I don't know.
Is he avoiding IR at this point?
Because I'm not going to give you all that because I'm not going to put a timetable on any of that because we don't know quite yet. So grade, IR, all that, yeah. You guys know how I'm going to answer that normally, so.
So life without him, what are your thoughts on sort of the state of the safety position?
I really like our room. I think Denard is a great coach and has those guys ready to go. A lot like what Coach Gannon talked about in his interview, just how good of a job that Denard and DK did of just getting guys ready and having them be able to step in there. Obviously, Reed had to go out there and do it, so Reed was ready to go because of his mental preparation and his ability to get ready through the week. And so we like the room. We like the guys on the practice squad. We like the guys that we have in the room, and we're always doing anything we can do to help make the team to be successful. But I really love that room, and I got a lot of confidence in that room.
With AJ facing his former team this week, he's obviously not the first player to face his former team, but do you treat some of those situations differently depending on who the player is and what the emotions are?
I think the constant reminder is like, hey, this game's big to us because it's our next one. This game's big to us because we don't want to let each other down. And you can't just like you can't ride the waves of the season. To answer your question, no, you don't. I don't think you treat it any different with how you tell one player toward another player. What I said to Zach Pascal before we played Indianapolis is going to be the same similar things. My message to AJ this week. He doesn't have to do any more than just go out there and be himself. Like he doesn't have to press. He just got to go out there and do his job to the best of his abilities with the attention to detail, and to go out there and put it. Because if you allow yourself, every week you could do that to yourself, right? Well, now I'm going, I know there's no team for AJ to go home to in Mississippi, but I'm going to New Orleans, and I'm going to treat that bigger because I'm playing in front of them. Or now I'm going to play my former team here. Oh, now I'm going to play, I'm thinking of Ole Miss guy. Now I'm going to play this team, and that was my college roommate, and so now I got to get up for this one. If you just treat everyone the same, right, that's the way to go. And then you don't allow yourself to ride these waves of the season because there's gonna be different schedules. There's gonna be Thanksgiving one week, and then there's gonna be a Christmas one week. Like you got to stay true to your process, and that's the key, because every game, the next game is always the biggest game. We don't want to let each other down, and so you got to prep like that. You got to prep for every game the same. But naturally, human nature will take over, and that's my job as a coach to make sure that he knows he doesn't have to do anything more than just be A.J. Brown. That's why he's here. That's why we traded for him. That's why we paid him, because he's a phenomenal player. Just go be yourself. You don't have to do anything special because you're special enough to go out there and play.
AJ, are you kind of, he was kind of describing what he went through to play on Sunday with his illness and everything like that. That probably doesn't surprise you just with his toughness.
He's tough as hell. Yeah, and he's just got so much toughness, and he just fits great into this team with a bunch of guys that we got tough guys. And he was able to fight through a tough week and get himself ready to play, and went out there and executed.
On draft night, you spoke about how you did not need to see much film to be sold on him. What have you learned about him? How does he compare having I guess having him in person relative to what you knew before?
Yeah. First of all, as the person goes, I mean, we just got a top-notch person. I can't say enough about AJ the person. Obviously, his play speaks for itself, but he is a great teammate. He is a great person. I've really enjoyed getting to know AJ. So that, you know, that was obviously a good thing. And then as far as the play, as advertised, right? I didn't have to watch a lot of film. Obviously, knew a lot about him, and he was as advertised. And then you get him out here, and there's obviously things that you think to yourself, man, well, he can do that too, and that's going to be a nice addition to this offense. And so, everything we imagined as advertised, and then some.
Nick, in the same regard as a player facing a former team, you guys play. Jim Schwartz is with the Titans now. What is that like for a coach as far as facing a former team, and what kind of intel you can give your new team, and does that actually help at all?
Yeah, no, it does, because we spend so much time with each other as coaches, picking each other's brains, right? And we always want to know why you did this or why you did that. Like, it'd be similar, you know, let's say Coach Gannon gets a head job next year and we play them. It's going to be similar things there because you have intel. Now, obviously, I wasn't here with Coach Schwartz, and I have so much respect for Coach Schwartz. He is a phenomenal defensive coach, defensive coordinator, and so, but I wasn't here with them, but there are some people that were here with them. So you go back to those conversations, but you also understand that they know that on that side, right? That Coach Schwartz knows the information that we know, right? And so then there's gonna be some game within the game of trying to change it, trying to make you feel like, put a seed of doubt in your mind of what you know. I mean, so we know this isn't the first time we've went through that. Like, obviously we went through that a couple weeks ago in Indy, right? We knew we worked with Gus Bradley before, right? And he definitely did things to put seeds of doubt in our mind, and you know what? That's what good coaches do, like Gus Bradley and Coach Schwartz.
What are the teaching points for Jalen when he's running?
I'm pardon?
What are the teaching points for Jalen when he's running in terms of protecting himself?
Yeah, that's something to me that's very instinctual. Don't take hits, obviously, and don't go to the sideline and play what we could say play pound on the sideline. Keep the ball in your outside arm so you can lower your shoulder and play pound. I'm not looking for him to do that. Slide when you need to. Understand that the slide has to start before the guys get up on you, so you don't, because they can, like we saw with. In Green Bay, there was one that I know the fans wanted a call on, but he started to slide late, and Ford got a hit on him, and because he was already in motion, so start the slide early. But things you can't teach is how he moves his body just so the guy doesn't get a clean shot on him, or stick the foot in the ground and make the guy miss. But also having this feel for where guys are around you. Okay, if this guy squared me up, am I gonna stick and miss? Well, how do I teach him where all these guys are around him? That's instinctual. Like, he's got great instincts there. But there are things, like I just mentioned, that we'll tell them that we don't want him to take a hit on those. But I think that starts, you know, obviously we have those coaching points, but there's so much instinct on Jalen's part that he's making our job easy as coaches, because we don't have to tell him too much on that.
Does his ability to avoid those big hits kind of, you know, make you more apt to have a game where he has 15, 16, 17 carries?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Like, if the guy was constantly putting himself in danger, then it's our job to help him, right? Just like with our kids, like it's our job to help them make sure they're not putting themselves in danger. Even though you say sometimes, well, they should know that better. Well, maybe they don't, and we got to help them. And so it's the same thing there. And so, again, this is the plays you call, the things you call are built off of confidence built in the week. They're built on confidence built throughout time. And you call those plays knowing that they can be successful, but also in this situation, Jalen's going to keep himself safe. And that doesn't always have to be just with a run play with Jalen. That can be with other plays. I won't get into different schemes, but it's with other plays as well that you try to protect him with.
What stands out to you about the Titans defense?
Yeah, they have good players at each level. I think they're really well coached. I think I said that to you guys already. I think I got a lot of respect for Coach Vrabel, obviously a lot of respect for Coach Schwartz and their defensive coordinator also. They're really good coaches, and you always knew, when we play them twice a year, we always knew that team was going to be really well coached, really disciplined, really physical, right? And then, so you knew those were three knowns that you knew going into everyone. So you needed to be physical, and you needed to be disciplined, and you needed to be, your job detail had to be very crisp, and we had to do a good job putting the guys in position and making sure the detail was right. And that's the same thing we see. And then you get into their players, right? And you know that, I was with Danico Autry. Think a lot of him. I think he's a really good player. Bud Dupree. Simmons, right? Those three guys are really good on the defensive line, and then you go into their secondary. Byard has been good for a really long time. Andrew Adams has made some plays. I really enjoyed my time with him. I was bummed when we didn't get to keep him through last year, but and so there's just you combine good coaching with good playmakers. That's why they've been who they've been under Coach Vrabel. Just a lot of playmaking ability, and then also just tremendous coaching.
When the Titans are successful at running the ball, you do run the ball. And right now the league is on trend to have the highest yards per carry in NFL history. Receiving yards are down for the first time in 2010, on pace for the most rushing yards. Why do you think that is? Is this a real trend of running the football?
Yeah, I think that's more of like, we know what we need to do to stop the run. We know what we need to do to be able to run ourselves. And that's different each week based off of who you're playing, obviously, and the players that they have and the schemes that they do. As far as why a league-wide thing, I think that's more of a off-season study that I'll figure out, and whether it's, I don't know, there's more middle field open coverages or the threat of quarterbacks running. I don't know. I can't answer that question just because I'm not looking at the league in a whole. But we just got to do what we need to do each and every week to stop the run and to be able to run the ball ourselves, and that changes each week, obviously based off of who you're playing.
Along those same lines, what impresses you most about Derrick Henry?
Yeah, he's done this for a very long time. So he's big, obviously really big, really fast. Is able to get going downhill really quick, and I always think they get good old line play there as well, but he just has things that you can't coach, right? And he's got great vision. Not only can he lower his shoulder and break tackles, right? With being able to break arm tackle, stuff like that. Stiff arm, got a really good stiff arm, but he also has speed to finish long runs. So when you're looking at backs and you're looking at them in the draft process, and they got all those things, you're like, man, this guy's a complete back, and he's a complete back that does a lot of things really well.
It's the Mike Loves Mike Pleads game this week. How special is it for you as a head coach to watch your players really just embrace all of these nonprofits?
Yeah, I think it's really cool because what we know is that we have a platform to be able to inspire change in a good way, and so it's interesting to see. It's just another form of connecting for me to see everybody's what's important to them, right? I might not always know exactly, hey, that this is important to this guy or this is important to that guy. And so, obviously it's cool. In general, it's cool to be able that these guys are using their platform to inspire change for something that they really care about. And like I said, the second portion of that is I just get to know a little bit more about these guys, which is, as you guys know, is really special to me. And that just spurs conversation, and then how can I help with that? And so I think this is a really cool thing that the NFL does. I've always thought that about this, and it's and I'm glad our guys get to put on display what kind of men they are, not just what type of football players they are, what type of men they are. And I really think highly of this football team, and I'm obviously biased because I spend so much time with them and I love these guys. But I know we got really good guys, and not just good football players, but good men on this team. And it's cool that they get to display that.
Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you show teach tape of AJ to outsiders,
Hold on.
is there something in particular that you would highlight?
With AJ, yeah, just the ability off the line of scrimmage and at the top of the route for a big man, right? And so the explosion off of that, just how he plays with a physical presence, and that happens right at the line of scrimmage and at the top of the route. Whether it's a little flipper, at the top, or how he gets the guy's hand off him at the beginning and is able to lean on them and break both ways off of that. So, yeah, a lot of good fundamentals out of him.
All right, thanks.